The stars were quiet. The cold dark between them was empty, as it always was. But on one long-range listening station near the edge of Mars' orbit, something changed. A signal came through. Weak. Broken. But there. It was not from Earth. That much was clear. The voice, if you could call it that, did not speak in any human language. It hissed and clicked like wind through broken wires, but buried inside the noise were patterns. A message. A cry. Help us. That was all anyone could make out at first. Then after hours of work, more. We are dying. We are alone. They are coming. No one knew who sent it. No one knew where it came from. Just a point deep in unexplored space, far beyond the edges of known systems. Earth science teams tried to trace it. Military command watched with interest. Other planets ignored it. They had their own wars, their own problems. Let the unknown stay unknown. But not everyone agreed. On board the USS Thunderer, Captain Ethan Blake read the report twice. He sat in his small command room, coffee in hand, eyes tired but sharp. He was not a young man. His face had seen too many battles. Too many losses. He wore the uniform not for glory, but because he believed someone had to stand when others turned away. "You thinking what I'm thinking?" asked Commander Lisa Harper, leaning against the doorframe. Blake looked up. "I think we should go." Harper sighed. "That thing is way outside our zone, no backup, no support, just us. And if we don't go," he said, "no one will." She nodded slowly. She knew him well enough to know the decision was already made. The Thunderer was not the newest ship in the fleet. It was built for war, modified after war, fitted with old alien tech scavenged from fallen enemies. It had seen fire. It had taken hits. And somehow it still flew. Its crew was the same. Not heroes, not legends. Just people who did the job. Within hours, orders came down. The mission was approved. Go find the source of the signal. Find out who sent it, and if possible, help them. As the engines roared to life and the ship rose into the black, no one knew what waited ahead. But they went anyway, because that was what humans did. They went, even when they didn't know what was waiting, even when they were afraid. Especially then, the USS Thunderer jumped through space. It was not the smoothest ride. The modified alien drive made a strange noise, like something grinding inside the hull. But it worked. They came out near a dead planet. No lights, no movement, just silence. Floating nearby was what was left of a space station, big, broken, spinning slowly like a toy that had lost its wind. "That's it," said Communications Officer Amanda Cruz, looking at the screen. "The signal is coming from there." Captain Ethan Blake studied the image. "Send a team over, find out who's alive, if anyone." Lieutenant Marcus Cole led the boarding team. He was quiet, strong, and good under pressure. With him were Chief Engineer Rachel Ward and 4 others. Inside the station, everything was cold. Lights flickered. Air was thin. They moved carefully, guns ready. Then they found them, a small group of aliens hiding in a storage room. Thin, scared, eyes wide with fear. They did not speak English, but Amanda Cruz tried to talk to them using the translation system. Slowly, she learned their name. The Virex. They had been hiding for weeks. Running, hiding, waiting. "They are coming again," one of them said through the translator. "They will find us." "Who?" asked Cole. The Virex pointed at the dark. "Outside. The Voidborn." No one on the Thunderer had heard that name before, but the way the Virex said it, like it was death itself, told them enough. Back on the ship, the crew listened as Cruz translated more of what the Virex had said. The Voidborn were not just enemies. They were something worse. Something that came without warning and took everything. Ships, planets, people. Gone. No messages, no survivors, just silence. And now, the Virex believed Earth was next. Blake looked at his command crew. "We need to hold this place until help arrives. Lisa, Harper, the XO, crossed her arms. And if no help comes? He didn't answer right away, then he said, "Then we fight alone." Outside, long-range sensors picked up movement, something big, something fast, coming their way. The Thunderer's alarms began to scream. Battle was coming, and the crew of the Thunderer would be ready. The alarm screamed across the USS Thunderer. Red lights flashed. Every crew member moved fast. They knew what was coming. The Voidborn were here. Sensors showed a massive fleet dropping out of hyperspace. Sleek black ships shaped like blades. No markings, no signals, just silence. "No. Attempted contact," said Amanda Cruz from her station. "They're locking weapons." Captain Ethan Blake stood tall on the bridge. His voice was calm, but firm. "Shields up, all hands. Battle stations." Outside, the enemy ships began to move. Fast. The first wave came hard and fast. Energy beams sliced through space. Explosions bloomed where shots missed. "Evasive maneuvers," Blake ordered. The Thunderer twisted and rolled. It was not the fastest ship, but it was tough. Built for war. Designed to survive. Railgun turrets fired. Explosive rounds tore through enemy fighters. Missiles launched. One enemy ship exploded in a flash of fire, but more took its place. "We can't take this forever," Lisa Harper said, watching the damage reports stack up. Blake looked at the screen. The Virex station was still holding, but just barely. If the Voidborn reached it, everyone inside would die. He made a choice. "Bring us in closer," he said. "Draw their fire." Cole and Ward worked below deck, keeping systems running as fires broke out. Damage control teams raced through smoke-filled halls. On the bridge, Commander Harper stared at him. "You're going to get us killed." "Maybe," Blake said. "But if we don't do something stupid now, we'll all be dead later." The Thunderer dove into the fight like a hammer through glass. It fired everything it had: railguns, lasers, even old missile launchers meant for planetary strikes. Enemy ships burned, but more kept coming. Then something unexpected happened. One of the Voidborn command vessels exploded, not from the Thunderer, but from inside the enemy line. It was Lieutenant Marcus Cole. He had used stolen alien drone tech to hack into one of the enemy's own ships. A suicide strike that turned the tide. For the first time, the Voidborn hesitated. Blake saw the opening. "Push forward," he said. "Now or never." The Thunderer roared into the breach. Smoke, fire, metal, death. And then, silence. The enemy pulled back. They had won the first round, but Blake knew this was only the beginning. The Thunderer floated in the cold dark, smoke still rising from broken panels. The battle had left its mark. Deep scars ran across the hull. Fires smoldered in lower decks. Lights flickered. The Voidborn had pulled back, but no one on board believed it was over. Captain Ethan Blake sat in his command chair, bruised but upright. He looked at the damage report in his hand. It wasn't good. "We lost 6, said Lisa Harper, standing beside him. Her voice was low. "And we're down to half power." Blake nodded slowly. He had seen losses like this before, but not lately. Not since the Martian Wars. Across the bridge, Amanda Cruz worked her console, trying to keep contact with the Virex survivors on the station. "They're scared," she said. "They've never seen anyone fight back like that." Outside, the enemy fleet regrouped. Sensors showed movement. They were preparing again. "They'll be back," Marcus Cole said, stepping onto the bridge. His uniform was singed from working below deck. "And next time, they won't make the same mistakes." Rachel Ward followed close behind. "We can patch some systems, but we're running on fumes out here. If we get hit again, we might not get back up." Blake looked at his crew. Tired, burned, bleeding, but still standing. He stood up. "We hold this line," he said. "If we don't, there's nothing left for them." No one argued. They didn't have to. They knew what he meant. Down in the halls, Petty Officer Daniel Ruiz walked among the crew. He cracked jokes where he could, kept spirits high. Even when the lights went out, he made sure people kept moving. "We're not dead yet," he told a young engineer with shaking hands. And as long as we're breathing, we're winning. On the command deck, Harper watched the enemy ships form up again. They're coming, she said. Blake gave the order. Then let's give them hell. The second wave hit harder than the first. Voidborn ships dove in fast, weapons blazing. Explosions rocked the Thunderer. Alarms screamed. But this time, the crew was ready. They fired everything they had. Railguns roared. Lasers burned. Missiles streaked into the dark. Cole led another strike using stolen tech to blind enemy sensors. He flew drones straight into the heart of an enemy cruiser. It exploded in a flash of white. For a moment, the enemy paused. Then, just like before, they broke formation. The Thunderer had done it again. It limped, bleeding metal and fire, but it still flew. And for the first time, the Virex looked at humans not with fear or confusion, but with respect, because humans did not run. The battle was over. The Voidborn had left, again. But no one on the Thunderer believed they were gone for good. The ship floated near the broken station, its hull scarred and smoke still rising from deep wounds in the armor. Fires had been put out. Systems limped along on half power. Crew members moved through dim halls, tired but alive. Inside the command deck, Captain Ethan Blake sat with a cold cup of coffee in his hand. His face was tired, but his eyes stayed sharp. Around him, the crew worked to understand what they had just fought. Amanda Cruz sat at her station, listening to the Virex survivors as they tried to explain more about the Voidborn. They are not like us, one of them said through the translator. They do not talk. They do not stop. They only come and take. Cruz asked more questions. Slowly, she pieced together their story. The Voidborn had wiped out entire worlds. No warnings, no mercy, just silence where life once was. They have done this for a long time, another Virex said. No one has stopped them. Blake looked at Lisa Harper. She read his thoughts. And now they know we're here, she said. Across the room, Marcus, Cole leaned against the wall. We gave them 2 black eyes, but they'll be back. And bigger. Rachel Ward walked in, her hands covered in grease. We can patch the engines, but we need real rest. Real parts. We're flying on luck right now. Blake stood up. He made a decision. We send a message to Earth, he said. Tell them everything. Show them what's coming. Cruz sent the report. It was long. It was honest. It told Earth that the Voidborn were real, that they were strong, and that if nothing was done, Earth would be next. They waited for a reply. Hours passed. Then, finally, a signal came back. 1 word. Approved. No more explanation. Just that. It meant Earth Command believed them, and it meant they were not alone anymore. Commander Harper read the message twice. What do you think it means? Blake looked out the view screen. It means we just started a war. Outside, the stars were quiet again. But something had changed. Humanity had spoken, and the galaxy had listened. The Thunderer did not stay still for long. Even with damage, even with a tired crew, it kept moving. The Voidborn had been pushed back, but they would return. And, next time Earth needed to be ready, Captain Ethan Blake led the way. With help from the Virex survivors, the Thunderer mapped enemy movement across nearby space. They found ruined colonies, silent outposts, whole worlds gone dark, and they were not the only ones watching. Across the stars, other species had begun to notice the strange human ship that fought back. Some feared it. Others wanted to know more. Word spread. A small damaged warship from a young world had hit the Voidborn twice and survived. It became known among traders and refugees as the Angry Ghost. Commander Lisa Harper ran mission control from the bridge. Every day, new plans were made. Hit-and-run strikes, sabotage runs, rescue ops. They used stolen tech, alien code, local allies, and slowly, they carved a path through Voidborn space. Lieutenant Marcus Cole led many of the ground missions. He moved fast, he stayed quiet, he got the job done. Rachel Ward kept the ship flying. She patched engines, fixed life support, kept lights on when there were no lights left to give. Daniel Ruiz kept morale high. He told jokes, shared stories, made sure people remembered why they were fighting. Earth began to respond. Ships followed the Thunderer's path. New fighters, supply drops, bases hidden in deep space. Back home, Blake became a name people knew, not just in the military, in schools, in bars, in homes. A symbol, not of power, but of defiance. But war was not kind. Losses came. Friends fell. Every mission took something. And Blake knew this truth better than most. He stood alone one night looking at the stars. Amanda Cruz walked up beside him. "Do you think we're making a difference?" she asked. Blake watched the screen. Enemy lines were shifting. Allies were forming. "We started something," he said. "Now we have to finish it." Outside, the Thunderer flew on. No longer just a ship. Now it was the spark, and the fire was spreading. The final battle began in silence. No warnings. No messages. Just the sudden appearance of a massive void-born fleet near the heart of their empire. And waiting for them was the USS Thunderer, battered but ready, at the head of a small but determined coalition. Alien ships that once feared humans now flew beside them. Ferex fighters, rebel drones, even defectors from the Voidborn's own forces formed a line in the stars. Captain Ethan Blake stood on the bridge, watching the enemy grow closer. "They don't stop," Commander Lisa Harper said. "They never," George Blake nodded. "Then we make them stop today." The attack came like a storm. Energy beams tore through space. Explosions lit up the dark. Ships crashed and burned. The Thunderer took hit after hit, but still it fought. Below deck, Rachel Ward worked to keep the engines alive. Sparks flew. Warnings flashed. But she didn't stop. On the command deck, Amanda Cruz sent last-minute orders to Allied forces. Marcus Cole led one final strike team into enemy space, hitting key targets before vanishing into the chaos. The plan was clear: destroy the central nexus anchoring the Voidborn's power across the galaxy. But getting there would cost everything. The Thunderer pushed forward, cutting through enemy lines. Railguns roared, lasers burned, missiles screamed into the void. Then the core came into view, a massive structure pulsing with dark energy. Blake made his choice. "This is Captain Blake," he said over the comms. "I'm taking her in." Harper turned to him. "No, there has to be another way." "There isn't," he said. He left his chair. He walked to the flight controls, and with both hands on the yoke, he drove the Thunderer straight into the heart of the Nexus. The explosion lit up half the sector. A chain. Reaction spread fast. The Nexus collapsed. The Voidborn's link to their forces was broken. Across the battlefield, enemy ships froze, then fell silent. It was over. The survivors limped home. The war had been won, but not without loss. Back on Earth, new ships were built, new crews trained. Humanity was no longer just a voice in the dark. They were seen, they were heard, and they were ready. In orbit above Earth, a new ship floated in the black, the USS Liberty. On board, a new captain read a message from command. "We've bought time, now let's make sure it was worth it." And somewhere in the stars, the memory of the Thunderer lived on.